Exiles, are you with me? Hi, Zizaran here with another video for Build Week, and this is going to be me basically stealing the Alkaizer Archmage Ball Lightning. So this is, Archmage is basically uses that you have copious amounts of mana, and then you use a large amount of mana when casting. Now, it feels terrible to play at the moment. I just don't have that much cast speed. I really wish I had like a million more, and this is after investing in everything I found. I was planning on going crit, and I was not planning to take like every cast speed in existence, but I basically searched for cast speed and I was like, there's some cast speed, there's some cast speed, there's some cast speed, there's some cast speed. And it does an insane amount of damage if you build it with like crit and shit like that. Actually, it does like pretty good damage right now. Elemental Overload has really low uptime for some reason. It's because this, like all of those spells count as one cast. So it either crits or it doesn't. Which is really annoying. But as you can see, it keeps me in place for very long. Each cast is all of those. And that feels very, very bad until you get a large amount of cast speed. Once you are mapping and you have like Blood Rage and Onslaught and stuff like that, you can see it doesn't feel too bad. And I think the build would just feel better and better. I've heard some people are using a Sire Shard for mapping. That seems overkill. But obviously the greater spell echo is a little bit rough. It also, I don't think that grants cast speed. And then, yeah, it's actually pretty fun. Obviously, I'm actually surprisingly low damage right now. This is a build that does like disgusting damage, but I think you do need to be like level 85 plus at least. And you see sometimes the balls get really big. That's because I'm using Divergent Ball Lightning. It's like 3 to 10x on hardcore. I don't know how much it is on softcore, but obviously the lower or the later it gets in the league, the more people start spiking prices on things for the people that are playing. But yeah, it's I'll go over the gear here in a sec, but it's pretty decent. I basically jumped straight into tier 6 or 8 maps with no issues. And obviously, like for single target, I would put in slower projectiles instead of greater multiple. All my gems are very low level since I switched at high level. I was leveling with Lightning Slinger. We'll go over that in a sec, but let's look at what I have right now. So I have a 6-link pledge. And you can look at the gem links and stuff like that in the PoB. I have a pretty trash ring. It's okay. It just doesn't have mana on it. I do have a really good ring coming. If this build got 80, I actually didn't play it very much. It was very, very slow to get started because of how bad it was at like level 70, 72. It's very, very slow, but I do have this at level 80. 70 mana, 60 mana regen, very, very nice. And an open suffix. Right now I'm just using this for resistances. I wanted to try doing something else than the normal foible amulet everybody's using. And I had this and I was like, this must be quite nice for hardcore because it does give me a large amount of life. 300 life on a build that has so much minor matter. And it still gives me like 600-700 mana. Foible probably would be better though. But it is pretty cute. Pretty cute. Fairly early in the league, I noticed the helmet and I was like, these are too cheap. These are definitely better than what they should be. Or like, because these were going for like 30C to 2x. So I bought one with skills fire and additional projectile and one with nearby enemies have malediction, and they're really cool. And then I enchanted them with good shit. Then I ended up using this. The other one's more damaged and has malediction. This one's more clear. Like 2 additional projectiles. But probably would just be better to use this one. Need to divine it a little. It's surprisingly hard to rest cap with those. Because obviously it triangles your resistance very hard. Accidentally 6-link the Cloak of Defiance, which obviously I'm not using. You only need a 5-link. There's no need for a 6-link. Then I have Omesian. These are pretty common. You could divine those. I should divine those. I bought a Redeemer Exalted Orb for 5x and a belt. And just chaos spammed it until I got life and mana. And I had Fertile Catalyst to make it more likely. 20 21.2 multiplier, obviously, to getting the life and mana rolls. And then I used the Redeemer Exalted Orb, and I hit Redemption. Hit the mana recovery rate. So very, very nice belt. Obviously, it should have been better. I should have made a better belt, but I was too lazy to fix the suffixes. The gloves are just life and mana and damage. Flasks, I should be using Crit Flask and Bottle of Faith, but I haven't gone Crit yet. Other than that, I just have like a pretty random Brutal Restraint that does, well, nothing. It's just for decks. I was struggling a bit on decks. And then a Watcher's Eye with mana if I've been hit, like recouped. And a Resist rule, because Resist was hard. And then I have Cluster Jewels I was going to use later, but we're like pretty early in the stages. This would have been like, it is an insane build. Alkaizer has a full build guide for this. Would look at it, and it's a powerhouse of a build. So make sure you try it before the league ends. It's very strong. Leveling, I did very, very standard cookie cutter with Spellslinger or Lightning. I used Arc, Ball Lightning, and Wave of Conviction. I focused on damage on Ball Lightning to make sure that I had like Slower Proj and LA Focus and Lightning Pen. It depends on what level you are, right? Because Spellslinger uses more Restoration at low level and less at higher. But in the start, I had like just LA Focus and then just Slower Proj. And then I had like LA Focus on Arc. And you can do Fist of Lightning on Wave of Conviction. And very, very standard leveling gear that I've been using on most of the characters. And yeah, I don't know. I guess I was a little disappointed in the pledge mechanic. I don't know if I would do a pledge build in the future because it's not a playstyle I love. Like being locked in place feels terrible. Part of how I do bosses is literally just not getting hit because I've played them so much that I know exactly what they do. But being locked in place didn't really feel that good. Obviously, this is a build that gets so much damage that you're just standing like that when the boss spawns and it just vaporizes, which is cool too. So it is a very, very strong build, and I would recommend it. But yeah, I wish I got to play it a bit more. Obviously, that's the problem with build week. Sometimes if a build takes a little bit like long to get going, you don't get to play it much. But I hope you guys are enjoying build week and seeing a new build every day. And yeah, thanks for watching. Try to die less than I do.